the opening ceremony of the United Nations General Assembly, there to represent the voice of the global youth, it's just such a big moment for India, I think. But it was a milestone moment personally and even for the family.
This is an opportunity that, that's very rare. What all did you want to communicate and tell the world? What all did you include in your speech?
My primary goal was to make all the young people feel and believe that you need to understand that you have a seat on the table. So one was to empower the youth, and I'm a part of it, so empower myself.
Is it intimidating?
It definitely is.
It definitely
I don't think there's any, because there's world leaders, there's presidents and prime ministers and such senior people sitting in the audience that what you say has weight and value.
It's good to see a lot of youngsters, taking their stand in different positions. Say there's a Greta Thunberg who works on climate change. There's a Malala who fights for, people who don't get education, and especially where she comes from. Where would you like to take this? What is your area of focus?
I have a laser sharp focus on youth-led development.
Okay.
So whatever it is that empowers the youth to be their best selves, primarily that is education.
Bill Gates, they do crazy work for rural development in India. Ratan Tata had till date donated $102 billion.
More than half of his wealth.
Yeah, of his wealth. What is there to learn from these people?
If we really dream of a better world, a safer world, it cannot be a solo journey.
Correct.
I think the biggest takeaway is, if you want to walk together. Hi, I am Sanjana Sanghi and you are watching this interview on Bollywood Hungama.
Sanjana, welcome to India. Welcome back to India, firstly. Welcome to Bollywood Hungama. Always happy to have you.
Thank you.
Today is a special occasion. You have come from a very successful trip that has made many of us proud back here.
Thank you.
You were at the UN summit. When we saw your speech, I didn't even know you were there. Suddenly it popped up on my Instagram. I'm like, wow, you're giving a speech there. I've never seen any Indian actor do that. So big congratulations.
Thank
you.
Very
Proud. Tell me from the start, how did you get associated with them? Who invited you? What all did you do? Because I saw multiple things on this trip.
Yeah.
So let's go step by step.
I think anyone who follows me and knows me knows that I do have an official position with the United Nations here in India. So I'm youth champion for the UNDP.
Right.
However, this international exposure is something that even I expected to happen much later in my humanitarian journey. I'm of course at it constantly here in India, working with the UNDP, doing ground visits, doing activations of all kinds. But the opening ceremony of the United Nations General Assembly, where you are up there to represent the voice of the global youth, it's just such a big moment for India, I think, because when I was speaking there, after my speech ended, brown girls of color from different parts of the world, whether they're from Brazil or Africa, came up to me and said that we felt heard and we felt seen. And that's really the point of it, to know as young people that we matter and our voice matters. But it was a milestone moment personally and even for the family, and I'm happy that for everyone back home.
Right, you said we matter, our voice matters. You gave a lovely speech. What all did you want? This is an opportunity that, that's very rare. What all did you want to communicate and tell the world? What all did you include in your speech?
I think primarily two things. One was that today, literally the largest number of young people ever in the history of time are living today.
Okay.
Literally half of the world's population is under 30 years of age. So my primary goal was to make all the young people feel and believe that you need to understand that you have a seat on the table.
Yeah.
Because many times we feel that, are we even getting to make the decisions that are going to affect us? Our future, our children's future.
Right.
Because if people of previous generations make those decisions, we don't really get to play a part.
True.
So one was to empower the youth. and I'm a part of it, so empower myself even in that process.
Right.
And the second was just like a mini plea to the people in power to be like, just wake up to our voices.
Right.
We're smart, we're capable, we're diligent, we're hardworking, and just use that to whether it's in entertainment, culture, or the nations at large, whatever it may be. And I know that not one speech can cause a tectonic shift, but if you start looking at it from a cynical POV, then none of us will ever do any work. The idea is just like one drop makes the ocean, each and every drop will come together.
True, one step at a time.
Yeah.
So, you spoke about having a seat at the table. I remember asking Priyanka Chopra exactly this question that, we were earlier never at the Oscars. Like, we won here and there once, and for many years, no sign. Now, do we have a seat on the table? She said, we have a foot in the door. We don't have a seat on the table yet.
Yeah.
In your work, do you think we really have a seat, like foot in the door, or do we have there's a lot more work to get a seat?
I think, the fact is that everybody is waking up to the fact that India's population and our size of our population cannot be ignored. We are the largest consumers today, we're the largest, and therefore we're also huge influencers in everything that's mattering to the world.
Right.
But I would say that when I see a room, say even when I was there at the HQ, I would still think that we have a long way to go in seeing more of us.
Okay.
But the fact that they selected even me to be there means that, like Priyanka said, that we've now, I think, pushed that door open.
Right.
We're now kind of flinging ourselves through.
Right.
And it's people like her, it's people like Diya in the past who've been pushing that door, that the younger ones like me can now, reap the benefits of their hard work.
True.
In a way.
True. Going there is a big moment for you, your loved ones, your family. Who all were there attending with you? What was that like?
So, New York, like my elder brother lives there. So, luckily, it is home in a way for me. So, he was there, but my dad actually sprung a surprise by booking a ticket for my mum overnight, didn't tell me, and I land in New York, and the next day the doorbell rings and it's mum.
Wow.
So to see her there in the GA, it has a 7,000 seating capacity.
Okay.
So just to know that I have pieces of home sitting there, it helps release the nerves, because no teleprompter, nothing, to just go freehand. All the debating that I've done throughout school and college kind of came in use. Yeah.
Is it intimidating? Like it
definitely is.
Yeah, it definitely
I don't think there's any, because there's world leaders, there's presidents and prime ministers and such senior people sitting in the audience that what you say has weight and value.
Right.
So it's also about recognizing that you've been given these 5 minutes where the whole world's eyes are on you.
Yeah.
How do you want to kind of make use of it? So I tried to not take too much pressure, but I think the pressure inevitably builds up. Like I remember sending a voice note to Diya right before I went on to stage saying, I don't know when I last felt this nervous and I need all the tips. And she sent me this soothing voice note that really helped me. She was just like, remember to breathe. Always. That
is really amazing. So your mom was literally watching you speak at the United Nations headquarters. That must have, what did she say?
Arey, mom went full Bollywood. She, when I was walking down from the stage and my eyes went to her, full tears were happening.
Right.
But she just literally said that, to see my child think about anything beyond just yourself.
Right.
When you're in your 20s, we're in such a pressurizing career. Entertainment is not easy and you can get very self-consumed. And I think what my advocacy journey really is doing for me is that it's allowing me to stay rooted and connected with the rest of the world.
Right.
It allows you to understand that there's a lot more beyond just yourself. Because as an actor, sometimes you can get a little self-consumed.
True.
And for them, just seeing me take out concrete time, it takes time, effort, energy to dedicate something that doesn't directly, it's not self-serving.
Right.
So I think for her as a parent, that is the biggest
That
reward.
really is the biggest. You know, your brother, your family, when they talk, you join the entertainment industry. Not here people come and do just acting, and they're satisfied and good for them. Everyone has their own journey. You took it to some other level. Where did this interest come from?
I think it came from the heart. It comes as I'm getting into it more and more, as I'm getting more opportunities. I'm realizing that you can't dedicate so much of yourself to something if every part of your being doesn't want to do it.
Yeah,
so I may try to intellectualize it, but the honest answer is that it's just how I think. And
Right.
I mean, we lost a legend, Ratan Tata,
Yeah.
and he always said this one thing that, you know, if you want to walk fast, walk alone,
Right.
but if you want to walk far, walk together.
Right.
And that,
Great thing, yeah.
for me, I think kind of sums up my emotion around this, that I want more and more of us to join this movement.
Right.
And if you grow, I grow. It's as simple as that.
Right, true. You know, it's good to see a lot of youngsters, you know, taking their stand in different positions. Say there's a Greta Thunberg who works on climate change. There's a Malala who fights for, you know, people who don't get education,
Yeah.
and especially where she comes from. Where would you like to take this? What is your area of focus?
I think my area of focus is I have a laser sharp focus on youth-led development.
Okay.
So whatever it is that empowers the youth to be their best selves, primarily that is education, like you said.
Right.
Because say in a country like India, if we don't convert our 1.4 billion plus population into we need to make it a tool something that actually takes us further.
Right.
And unless the children of our country are educated,
Yeah.
we're just going to have a demographic burden.
Correct.
It's not going to help our economy. So my focus is youth-led development, and that's the work that I'm primarily pivoting in all the advocacy journey that
Right.
I'm on.
And how does this work? They let you choose, they ask you what you want to do, where you would like to focus. How does it work?
I think with me what happened was that since, like, again, I think you know that because it started back in 2014 for me, my journey in advocacy.
Right.
They recognize that she works really well on ground with young people.
Okay.
And therefore they ask you, like, for example, Prajakta works in
Yeah.
climate,
Yes.
right? But they asked me what my area of focus is, and I always have felt most passionately about this, and therefore I became youth champion.
Right.
So my work
Got it.
is to focus on mental health amongst the youth, education empowerment, all the things that will take us far.
Right, true. Yeah, you mentioned Prajakta, she was there as well, like, yeah. You know, and this was one part of your trip.
Yes.
You were also there for the Gates Foundation. What was that exactly? How did that take shape?
So the Gates Foundation does a huge amount of work in India,
Yeah.
and the Goalkeeper Summit is actually their flagship summit that happens in
Right.
New York every year. And I got an email out of the blue where they were inviting only 7 youth leaders from all over the world to be flown in and hosted by Gates
Wow,
there.
this is back to back.
Yeah, this is all in that
Yeah,
one crazy
yeah.
week in New York, and we got to be there. I was actually the India representative there.
Amazing,
So got
okay.
to just speak out about everything that the Indian youth is feeling, our anger, our frustration, our dreams. And to do that again at that global stage where there is a Bill Gates, there is
Yeah.
a John Baptiste performing, there's these incredible change makers from all
Right.
over the world.
True.
I was awestruck, honestly, because you feel so grateful that someone is recognizing your work and investing in you, and then you feel responsible that I have
Yeah.
to make the most of this.
True. You know, when you say, for example, Bill Gates, like, you know, they do crazy work for rural development
Yeah.
in India. Like, you know, from what I read, Ratan Tata had till date donated $102 billion.
Yes, more than half of his wealth.
Yeah, of his wealth. What is there to learn from these people? You are someone who's getting to interact with the Gates Foundation people.
What's there to learn is exactly this, that if we really dream of a better world, a safer world, it cannot be a solo journey.
Correct.
I think the biggest takeaway is if you want to walk together.
True, yeah.
And Ratan Tata has shown that, Bill Gates has shown that, so many
have shown that,
many
yeah.
have. And I think, you know what happens is that as actors, I realize that, I mean, I whatever little fame I may have, you know, it gives you an incredible access to the audiences.
Yeah.
They are tuned into you, they're looking up to you, and they want to hear from you.
Right.
So when I go to, like, when we promote our films and go to universities, they always ask me about my LSR days or my college days, about how did you, aapne top kaise kiya hai, aapne, because those are the journeys that they want to chart their path on.
Right.
And if we can do our bit in just helping with whether it's information or resources, like when I work even with Teach for India on ground,
you were doing that,
when they tell me that मुझे radio jockey बनना है या मुझे YouTuber बनना है, I've literally helped get them an internship at a radio station.
Nice,
you know, or connected them with someone to
That's
create
amazing,
their own YouTube channel. So it's again just micro impact.
Right.
And it helps me feel more connected to myself.
Wow.
That's why I always say it comes across as selfish, but it's actually quite selfish
Yeah, okay.
of me, because I know
great,
how it makes me feel alive.
Right. You know, there'll be Tatas and Gates of the world who can donate wealth. There'll be people like you who can be a voice for many people. A normal person watching this interview will be like, what can I do?
Yeah.
What would you like to tell them?
I think all I'd like to tell them is just whatever community you're in, whether it's आपका school है या आपका college है या आपका office है, अगर आपको लग रहा है कि हमारे ऑफिस का एटमॉस्फेयर में एक हमें मेंटल हेल्थ डे पर मंथ की ज़रूरत है, then you be the one to take the lead and galvanize the community.
Right.
Don't think about mass results. Right. Just think about your own communities and see how it makes you feel better. Think about the staff that's working in your office and their kids. Yeah. Can you give even 0.5% of your salary to help them fund their education?
Right. Great, yeah.
So I think that's my message, that if my journey or any of our journeys can help you do that little thing in your little community,
amazing,
that's all that one can ask for.
Yeah. This was too much for one trip into New York. But this is a life-changing trip as well. Has it changed you in any way? Do you look at things differently?
It's been very consequential. I think the one word that even when I was flying back and I had that time on the flight to reflect, I think there are some moments in your life that change something in you, that shift something in you. And these 15 days of being there, getting exposed to these amazing individuals, and also getting that faith in myself of what all you can do. Sometimes as an individual, you don't know your own potential. True. It's given me this push to be like, we're not going to settle for less. I have all these ideas about global town halls, and my long-term dream is setting up my own foundation. And,
nice.
And now I think I have it's giving me more knowledge on how to do that.
True.
I was even watching what Deepika did on World Mental Health Day with the Live, Love, Laugh Foundation. She does this amazing lecture series. And these are just ideas and inspiration, now. And I think it's just taken me and given me this massive push. And I just want to keep the momentum going.
Right. Is there anyone you met, anything that anyone said that stayed with you, that's, what were any learnings that we should also know?
I think what stayed with me really, and if I'm being completely honest, is we did this with the New York Film Festival. I actually was invited for a fireside chat which focused on how we can leverage entertainment to drive impact. On the fact that movies reach out to crores of people. And how can we just leverage that to drive a little bit of social impact. And I spoke about Dhak Dhak and getting to be a part of narratives like these. And after my UNGA speech ended, a girl came up to me she was an Indian girl and who has asthma. And she told me that I watched Dhak Dhak and I could never have dreamt of going to Leh and Ladakh, but my dad booked a ticket for me and said, "You just go. We'll make sure everything is okay."
It's amazing. Yeah.
And I think those are the takeaways.
Yeah,
you know, realizing that your films are creating that kind of impact, and therefore me being there just suddenly felt worth it.
True, absolutely. What an impact that is.
And like I said, that's one life, you know. But that's everything. As an artist, as an advocate, that's everything.
Right. Since this does elevate you, your mind, your spirit. Will these things reflect on your main job? Like, when you would think that, I want to do movies that make impact, will it be a mixed bag?
I think all my choices, even thus far, have reflected, if not direct impact driven cinema, but at least an honest, authentic representation of reality. Like whether
Dhak
it's,
Dhak,
like Dhak Dhak or Sakshi and Karak Singh, they're real girls from real context.
Right.
But now I've gotten to meet some amazing people, and what I really want to start doing also on the side, I've actually never spoken about this, but is impact production, which is impact storytelling.
Okay.
Which is working with filmmakers who like to tell stories, whether they're about the environment or education or gender equality, and combine forces with them as a creator, and if they so want, as an actor.
Right.
But it's a very nascent community in India, and it's very well developed in the West.
Okay.
And after having met some incredible people in the space there, I've gotten amazing ideas, resources to do that. So that's...
So, anyone who's made a short film or a documentary and has an idea which is impactful, you're open to that?
Absolutely, open to receiving it, open to putting it together.
Okay.
Raising funds for it and letting it go on floors and get made. That's something that I'm going to be focusing
Amazing.
on.
Well done. Coming back home to your main job, what are you shooting? What did you leave shooting before going there? Where will we see you next?
I think it's a known fact that this year has been a challenging one for our industry.
Yeah, it has.
And Dhak Dhak and Karak Singh were both received phenomenally well, and what that led to was lots of things coming my way. But I think because of we're in that state where we don't know whether the audiences are going to cinemas.
True, yeah.
OTTs are sanctioning fewer things.
Yeah.
A lot of the projects that I've said yes to have been slow in development, if I'm being completely honest.
Right.
So while I'm in prep for Dhak Dhak sequel and the other two things that I've said yes to, they've not yet gone on floor.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's been a lesson in patience, actually.
Yeah.
Because my jumpy 20-something year old self, you just want that like one thing after the other. But I've had to sit back and understand from my producers about the macros that are going a bit wrong.
True.
Now.
Yeah, that drives this industry. Current stage is exactly that, and what you are saying is pretty much everybody telling me the same thing. The bottom line is, how does one keep calm in this? How?
It's very challenging. I think for the first couple of months when I didn't, you hear about things that, okay, these projects are getting stalled, this is not getting commissioned, but to really sit back and accept that, okay, that's how it's going to concretely affect our lives. Like me and so many of my younger actor friends, it's not a journey I'm going through alone. So talking to peers, talking to colleagues has really helped in understanding that, okay, it's going to take some time to correct.
Right.
So I went through that phase of feeling really like, you feel worried, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, a gap. That's what my next question was. A gap. Does the gap worry you between releases?
The gap. The kind of person I am, I'm that type A overhyper person. I like to be at it all the time. So not getting to be on set as much as we have in the last 3 years, that affects me.
Correct.
But the latter part, another learning has been that you can't control anything.
Control, even if you shoot, you don't know when they'll release.
If it'll release. I had a film release after 11 years. So lots of learnings this year, actually. But important learnings.
Yeah. Watched anything fun
watch lots of fun
Okay,
things.
so you're getting time to watch at least.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
nice.
been super nice. Loved The Perfect Couple.
Yes, it was.
It
Yeah.
was so nice. Very proud of what Ishan did
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that.
yeah. Very cool.
So I've demolished a few shows recently. Nobody Wants This has been like, I think I did it in one sitting. Perfect Couple.
Yeah.
Ishan was great.
Yeah, great
that
to
was
see
a
him
really
there, right?
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it was so nice to see that. The Bear.
Right.
And I'm watching Jigra this weekend.
Nice. And so
Yeah.
there's good news for you. Nobody Wants This is renewed for the second season.
It is,
so that will
right?
be great.
Yes, I can't wait. Adam Brody is looking phenomenally hot in it.
There, finally, you talk like a 20-year-old. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, I am Sanjana Sanghi and you are watching this interview on Bollywood Hungama.